Hello, I'm Kendra. I have been existentially indisposed in the last couple of weeks, but today I still am. However, not as strongly. So let us sit down and discuss the light-hearted subject that is the war in Ukraine, shall we? On Monday, NATO confirmed that 10,000 North Korean soldiers were sent to the Russian oblast of Kursk, an area that Ukraine is attacking as a strategy to pressure the Russian Federation to move their troops out of south of Ukraine, where they have been making minor gains. Those soldiers were gifted to Moscow by Pyongyang, as the Hermit Kingdom is on friendly terms with Russia. Western leaders have been mostly quiet on this information since Zelenskyy revealed it the week before. Sure, some nations might have called it concerning, but what Rutte said about it was that it was an escalation of war and goes against international law. I'm sorry, since when do these two care about international law? The US has done nothing except condemning this act, but in their defense, they are going through a presidential election coming this Tuesday, so it is not surprising they are being passive about it. Zelenskyy has been calling for the West to help him deal with this escalation and has also asked the US, Germany, and the UK to allow him to use Western weapons on Russian soil. But unfortunately for him and Ukraine, that appeal has been falling on deaf ears. Okay. North Korean soldiers might seem that they have the battlefield experience equivalent of the cost of that army, but they still have training. And 10,000 is a substantial amount of soldiers that a fatigued Ukrainian army has to endure. The Polish Prime Minister, Donald Tusk, a staunch supporter of Ukraine, said that regardless of the results of the US presidential elections, we Europeans should take our matters into our own hands. And I absolutely agree with him. A handful of political experts have been calling on this attitude for years, and only now, with the war, our leaders of state have been counting that same message. A tad too late to the party, darlings. This week, NATO and the European Union also announced their plans for a joint task force focusing on the cooperation between the two international entities. The EU has been advised by former Finnish President Sauli Niinistö, now a special advisor to President Ursula von der Leyen, for the creation of an EU intelligence agency. His report calls for cooperation of counterintelligence at EU level. Furthermore, as Politico puts it, there are numerous other areas where the bloc should shore up its readiness for a conflict. He said, also proposing for an EU preparedness law that would set out principles, standards, and targets under which countries should cooperate. For example, the EU lacks 1 million cybersecurity experts, Niinistö said, and while he isn't advocating for military conscription, he does advocate for capitals to introduce programs that bring civilians into national defense. I like Niinistö. He was the first politician I ever voted for, and I also like to see Finland take the lead in talks about security at an international stage. We've earned a reputation for being cool and collected for a reason, which is vital in this inferno that our continent faces. So, Finnish military wisdom is a welcome upgrade, and hopefully we can reduce the meek German influence on overall European defense. That would be lovely. Anyway, I'm finishing this chat for today. I'm leaving the comments open for dialogue, hopefully you respectfully engage in it. See you all around the interwebs.